Gratitude is what I'm sending out today. Gratefulness for understanding of self. A year ago to this day, there were so many things that I used to be afraid of that I no longer am. Even though at the time, going through change can be uncomfortable and it can be very painful, but I wouldn't have it any other way. A year ago to now, there were so many things that I was afraid of and insecure about, and I'd worry about what people think about certain things, and now I couldn't give less of a shit. So that's what I think I want you guys to try to get to. Even if you're already there, continue doing it, understanding yourself so much that even when you go out into like the battlefield of the world, you're already armored in your own understanding of yourself, so nothing can penetrate that armor. That is it. That's called fearlessness through self-acceptance and self-love and care, because if you don't do those things for yourself, there's no way in hell you'll be able to extend that to anybody else. And the people around you probably may suffer, because if you don't know how to do it for yourself, you can't possibly do it for them. You may think you do, but you really don't. So here's to self-growth and understanding your inner worth, not monetary or anything material, but the person that exists in the soul form. Because what I've realized is that I don't know what's gonna happen next year. I could die next month, You never know. So I've realized that I have to make use of this life. And I know people say that all the time, but you just have to lift your head up and observe the simple things about life, about yourself. Embrace all the things that are perfect that society tells you otherwise. You don't need to look, feel, act, be, think, allow, love, hate, care, spend, perform, read, educate, understand the same way anybody else does. Life is not about fitting the mold of a prototype that's there, and social media does that shit to everybody, where people have this thing where you look up to people, not for inspiration, but you judge yourself in comparison to them, whether it's like they're earning more money, or they assume to be, or they look a certain way. Like it's happening with our women now, where society's placed such high pressure on them that they feel the need to change themselves, not for themselves, but for other people, and because they think that makes them okay now. And it's, at the end of the day, it's not worth it. It's too big a price to pay, for guys, specifically black men, who feel like you need to be disrespectful to a woman, or measure your dick or your ego against somebody else because it proves your masculinity or anything else. You couldn't be more wrong. Self-worth is not through toxicity of any kind, whether it be feminine toxicity or masculine toxicity or whatever the fuck it is. It's all a game and all fake. The most important thing is the quality of life that you allow those around you to have in coming in contact with you. You're only as good as you make people around you feel. And what do I mean by that? If there are 10 people around you and none of them respect you because you treat them like they're nothing, you have no respect for their existence, if you're not feeding the people around you with positive things, then you're not valuable. My adopted dad told me this years ago. Adopted dad, Donovan Germain. The person that I owe, if I were to owe any human being anything, I owe my education to him. Because whilst he didn't send me to school financially, he made sure to support me, and that's something money can't buy. Again, money is not the most important thing, you understand? He told me this years ago when I was probably 17. He said, if I come in contact with any person or entity in life, if I cannot change it for the better, I shouldn't change it at all. And I've lived by that since then, and he told me that the only lie I can tell in this world is the one to myself, and saying all that to say, like, just be Be a positive vibe or entity or force to somebody around you. You know, I see all these people use their social medias to bring people down, whether it be women or men or kids or young girls or whatever, referring to people in a less than flattering way. All these things that we get so distracted with, like things like what car or what clothes or how many followers or how popular, who slept with who didn't sleep with who, all these stupid fucked up shit that makes no sense when there's bigger things. There are people in the world that have no running water. There are kids that are dying of hunger when there's other people out here spending $50,000 for fucking followers on Facebook. When you have a government that's funding nuclear projects, and still there's places that don't even have clean running water. You have people that are misplaced, children that can't afford education, women that have no right to their own bodies in the world. These are the things that we should spend our time worrying about. There's global warming, there's climate change, there's endangering of species, there's the world becoming uninhabitable without technology. All these things that are important to us, and we think of ourselves as bigger than ourselves. We're just human at the end of the day, and what that means is that, so self-value, value yourself so you can value others, Today, focus on things that are bigger than you, Stop worrying about popularity. Stop worrying about how many people are gonna like you. Stop worrying about if you like you, Instead of worrying about what somebody think about your physical appearance, worry about what they think of your mind. Instead of thinking about what you don't have, think about why you don't have it, what you would be if you had that thing, and how easy it is to lose that thing, which means it wasn't even that valuable in the first place. Because it makes no sense to lose yourself and gain anything or anybody else. It might seem like, but it's the best way I tell you. Like, when you're at peace with yourself, that changes so many things. Because I know this is like, there's so many things that happen. There's depression, there's the self-doubt, there's anxiety, frustration, addiction. There's so many afflictions in the world. Don't waste your time, guys, worrying about things that aren't changing your lives for the better. And I think that's what I want to share with you guys today. Peace and love.